right. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for being here in the 30 Days to Elevate program. Hello to everyone who's here live, Nicole and Michelle, and hello to everyone watching on the replay. This program is all about elevating not just, your goals and your dreams and your aspirations and really being like, okay, I'm ready to step into where God's calling me. This is about elevating your body and your mind and your heart and your spirit, right? Like all these parts of you that are able to hold where you're going. I think sometimes we forget that sometimes when there's resistance in our body and we want to like pull back or shrink down, or constrict or like pull back, we're forgetting that there has to be a preparation to be able to hold where you're going. So I could say, I want a million people to like my next post and be like, hey, I want to work with you, a million people. I want to reach a million people. I want to help a million people. But can I even hold that? No, I couldn't hold that. I couldn't hold 1,000, right? Like I don't have the ability to hold that. So if that's where God's asking me to go, then I know that he's going to prepare me in my mind, my heart, my body, my spirit to be able to hold where he's asking me to go. So this is about becoming the vessel that God is creating through. How do we become more like that? How are you walking? How are you talking? How are you speaking to yourself? How are you moving in the world, right? I told the story to the people who are here live about how I used to really walk with my head down. I would walk with my head down. Do you think that that was somebody who is ever using their voice at all? Negative. No. Was not speaking, had no boundaries, right? I was literally walking with my head down. So it's about standing up tall and walking with your head held high, right? Even if you don't feel the empowerment that comes along with your story yet, it's about becoming that person already who does feel empowered in her story. It's about showing up that way, even if you don't actually believe that yet, because you will. But how do you prepare for that next place? I asked this question too to the ladies who are here live, and I encourage you to reflect on these questions. What is your why? And, we hear this all the time, like, what's your why? And that's like your driving factor. You want to be a really present mom for your kids and you want to show up really, really great in your relationships. But what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? I want to be a present mom. Okay. I don't want to miss any sporting events. I want to be able to pick my kid up from school any day that he needs to. I want to be able to stay home if he's sick. I want to be able to have a really strong, intimate relationship with my partner. Not just, emotionally, but physically. I want to have a strong, intimate relationship. I want to be able to connect to my partner so deeply. I don't want to just have a good relationship. Right? Like what does it actually mean? I want to be able to, go travel whenever I want. I want to be able to meet somebody who's reading my book and be like, able to receive when they say, your book changed my life. I can put my hand over my heart and say, I received that. Thank you so much for telling me. Versus like, oh my God, it's just, just my story. I'm sure yours is way better than mine. Right. And I'm not saying any of us are doing that. Just use that as an example. So get really deep in this question. And the next question is, what do you actually want? What's your why? What do you want? Like and those two kind of intermingle with each other, but getting clarity on that, like those are the things that are going to keep you going when you feel like you want to give up. There's no way that I'm ever going to put myself back in the prison that I felt like I was living in. I'm not going back there. I won't. So I'm going to power through all the blood, sweat, tears, bruises of this assignment that God's asked me to walk in. I'm going to do it. No matter how hard it feels, no matter how many times I want to give up, I won't. Because I no longer will allow myself to feel imprisoned in existing. Those are really deep questions. I talked about this a little bit on my live the other day and a little bit today in what I posted, but when we're looking to expand into another level, and I said this at the end before I started recording, so who's here live, you've already heard this, but if you stay where you always are, you only see what you always see. And I remember when I first started this journey and oh my God, I signed up for this retreat and it was in Utah. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm not gonna go. No one's gonna like me. And like, I don't know, I'm not really even ready to speak yet. Like all these things, it starts like the stories you start telling yourself. And I remember going there and it was in this amazing place with these amazing food and these amazing people wearing these amazing outfits. And like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that this existed. I had no idea that there was a life where people are living so deeply in their dreams and aspirations, and they're doing it so freely, and they're connected to God in this way that I never even knew that I could be. I never saw that. Therefore, I didn't know that it existed. And I put myself in a room where I felt like I didn't belong. Right? There was no way I thought I belonged in that room. And I could say this about so many places that I put myself on my journey to my own evolution. And I always put myself in rooms that expanded me, even when I didn't feel ready. Because again, there's no way that I was going back there. So the only choice that I had was to go this way. And once you see this, version of yourself who is, oh my God, I actually am that amazing. Like I am pretty cool. I have a cool gift. In the beginning, you're like, I think I have this cool gift and it's kind of cool, and I want to like start telling people about it. But when you're in this place and you're like, oh my God, I've seen the work that I do transform lives. It is life changing. It is life changing. Even if you become a master at being able to deeply connect with yourself, therefore you have a gift of deeply connecting with others. I don't care if you use that in a business or not. That is your mastery. That is your gift. But when you're so empowered in doing that and feel so like this is not me, like this is me just doing what God's asked me to do, like it's not about you. Your ego is out of that completely. But when you're so lit up by doing that, you want to keep going. You want to keep seeing. You want to keep experiencing. You want to keep expanding. It's almost like if you stay in one spot for too long, your body will start to tell, right? Like your body will start to tell you, like, raise your hand if that resonates. Maybe you start to feel a little anxiety or insomnia or depression, or like, these are surface level things that start happening when your like soul's trying to go somewhere, but your body's keeping it where it's at. Your soul and your spirit's like, let's go, we're gonna go, like this is okay. Oh my God, this person you met, they want to like do this cool podcast with you and it's gonna be so great. But then your body's like, no, 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 no. I'm actually not ready for that. I'm just not ready for that. So the way that you expand is by putting yourself in places that you feel like you don't belong yet, because you will. But you never will if you don't move. I always do this with God. This is what I do. And I'm doing it now. I do it all the time. I'm probably doing it now in certain areas of my life. But I'm like, okay, God, if you just do this one thing for me, like I just need a little more safety and security in this decision, then I will jump. So I need you to go first and then I'll go. Does that resonate? And every single time things will start feeling like they're stalled for me, or they're not moving, like nothing's moving, nothing's moving, nothing's moving. And I know it is because every time I'm supposed to jump first. God catches me after I trust him enough to jump. And I think it'll be different every time, right? It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey, right? Like just beginning 3 years, 6 years, 10, like, I don't care. We all have this relationship with trust and surrender and like, I'm not going to be caught. And I don't know, like, I just need to feel a little more safe before I. So it's like putting yourself in places where you feel like you don't belong yet, expanding your ability to see, to be able to experience, to be able to, again, even see what is possible. Like, I didn't even know that people talked like this when I went to that first retreat. Like, who are these people? But then it gave me permission to be more myself. I didn't even know there was a world that existed of people being who they were. What is that? You can be yourself for a living. And that was my goal. I'm going to be myself for a living. I'm going to be myself for a living. Makes me like want to cry. Okay, so being able to expand into that, putting yourself in rooms you don't belong in, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what's going to happen. I invited an old friend. This is a cool story. I invited an old friend to come on my podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're amazing. I don't know what you're doing in your life, but I see God shining through her. And I see that she's been through something. And I could just feel that she had a story to tell. And again, I love this girl. Like, I'll cheer her on for the rest of her life. And she's like, I've been wanting to record a podcast. Are you serious? Oh my God. And this is the first time that she's ever in her life is going to share her story. Giving her this like platform to be able to do that feels like the coolest thing in the world. So then again, and like, I don't need anything from this. Like, I want to do something fun and nice for her. And I feel so grateful I can give her this platform. So then today she messages me and she goes, oh my God, I do these like pop-up boutiques and I have so many brand new, amazing clothes and accessories in your size. What's your address? I'm going to send them to you. I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's one of those examples of like, when you do something freely, when you do something from your heart, you're in this creation, you're sharing empowerment with the world, you're helping set other people free. You never know, like, you just never know the cool stuff that's why I say, God is so cool. Like, that's so cool. I'm like, are you sure? Like, do you want money for shipping? Like, but you just never know what's gonna happen or what surprises are in store about the people that you're gonna meet or the people that, God directs you to connect with. You have no idea. It's about just like, hey, you want to do this podcast? Hey, you want to join this thing? Hey, I'm going to this event on Saturday. It looks really good. Do you want to go? Like, you never know. You never know. It's just a really cool example of how like that just shows up in reality all the time. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, how are you speaking to yourself? How are we speaking to ourselves? I am even guilty of this sometimes, right? Like it's really easy, and people say this all the time, right? It's like, maybe it's cliche, but it's so easy to praise God and love God, whoever you pray to, right? It's so easy to be grateful in those moments when everything is going in this amazing direction. And you're like, oh my God, God is so, I'm so grateful. I'm just really grateful. Life is so good right now. Like, I'm grateful. Praise God. But then when things are hard and you're in the, you're in the space of changing and shifting and transforming, and things are happening, and you're like, I know I asked for change and evolution, but I didn't think that this was going to come, and it feels hard and scary. That's when we're like, God is gone. God, you left me here. You left me alone. You told me to jump and I jumped, and here I am in a bunch of crap. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, now I get it. Oh yeah, no, I get it. Like, right. But it's like when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the trees and you can't see where you're going and you have no idea why, but you put out this intention of take me where you need me to go. We've got to trust. We've got to speak to ourselves in a way that is, loving and powerful, and like, it is okay to still trust yourself, even when it feels like you shouldn't, or even when it feels like you made the wrong decision, because it will feel like that sometimes until you get out of the thick of the trees and you're like, oh, it's the most beautiful ocean landscape I've ever seen. I could cry. But when you're walking through the thick of it, it feels like you're alone, and it feels like, there's that My grandma used to have this up in her house when I was growing up. And I don't know if anyone listening or here live has heard about that, like, it's like footprints in the sand. Yeah. And when it was hard and you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. And if you can remember that in those moments, that it's not like you're the worst and you're not capable and you make bad decisions and what kind of investment was that? Like, yeah, like all those things we tell ourselves when we're in it, just remember that like maybe you're being carried to where you've asked to go or where you trusted God to take you. And speaking, aliveness over your dreams and, just changing the way that we speak to ourselves, to our children, to our, to our bodies, all the parts of ourselves, and really, because your words hold so much power. We know this. Your words hold so much power. And if we can start speaking more into what we're creating versus what we don't want to create, that will make a huge difference. Like what are we speaking? How are we speaking life into our visions and goals and dreams and who we're becoming? Are we speaking into them? Or are we speaking about and thinking about and putting all this energy into what we're not yet, what we don't want? Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. Speaking that way actually brings those things closer to you. So speaking in the direction of like forward movement and forward momentum, and I am amazing and I can do anything and I am going to do whatever I set my mind to. And like, I'm amazing, right? Because you are, because I am, we all are. Doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're at, like you are all the things that God says you are, and see yourself the way that God sees you and the way that I see you. I have this incredible ability to believe in people more than they believe in themselves because, right? And who else like resonates? Like when you see somebody, like I see their full potential. Like I see them in their highest light and I'm like, okay, like you're like already, like I already see where you're going, even if you don't see that yet. And sometimes it's so hard for me to like pull back because so much of this journey is like trusting your own self to where you need to go. But I have to pull back and really allow people to walk their own. They'll get there. And I just guide. But it's that empowerment that comes from you did that yourself. Nobody told you, nobody, you took the reins of your life and got where you needed to go. That empowerment is like that relationship that you developed with yourself, and that trust is something that you can't buy. It's the biggest gift you'll ever give yourself. What are you putting in your body? Not just what are you speaking into your body? What are you putting in it? It's like, do I need to even elaborate on that one, right? We put so many, like, when I was drinking a lot, and this was a big part of my story 6-7 years ago, but when I was drinking a lot, I was so disconnected from my spirit. I couldn't hear or see God at all. I almost even would go as far as like my spirit was hijacked. Like I don't even know what that was or how that went, but the disconnection that I now know was happening was very real. And so there's all kinds of things that disconnect you from that. There's all kinds of things that allow you to not be able to feel, right? And like your energetic aura and the frequency that you're operating on is all influenced by what you put in your body. Your body is the first thing, right? It's like what do we want to say? Like the first, what's the word I'm looking for? The body comes first, right? The heart is here, the mind is here, the spirit is, all encompassing all around us, but like the first line of defense is your body. So this extends out as far as you can go. If you're hanging out with your kids and your energetic aura is all messed up from, maybe you're hungover, maybe you smoked a joint, maybe, I don't know, you're taking some combination cocktail of medications. I don't know. I'm just using examples. but they're going to feel that disconnection that you have in yourself. Maybe you're eating a really high fat diet and you don't feel good, or right, like you're not able to, I don't know, like, you see where I'm going with this? Like, what are you putting in your body, and how is it affecting the way that other people feel you, and how connected you are to yourself? I call it like the first phase of all of this work is detox. Because how do you expect yourself to be like, I want to connect to my heart? How do you expect to do that when you're full of actual shit? You know what I mean? How do you expect to do that? So your first step is really being intentional about the words you're putting in your body, and the substances you're putting in your body, and the relationships you're surrounding yourself with. Are they draining you? Are they sucking the life out of you? Do you need a boundary that you've never had before? Are they parasitic relationships? Like, let's be honest. Are we not ready to let go of things because we're overgiving and people pleasing and, putting ourselves last because that's what we believe that we should do? So elevating is being able to be in a state of expansion in all these different ways. So things to just think about, reflect on, write down, journal on, right? Because the more clarity you have in all of this, the closer you bring it to you. Because you're clear in what you're asking God, right? Like, you're not, hey, I need guidance, I need wisdom, I need clarity. Okay, I'm gonna give you all those things, but like, I don't, you need guidance in what? You need guidance on your path towards what? You need wisdom to help you move through what decision, right? The more clear we are on these things, it's so much easier for God to meet us where we're at. We ask for things, and then, has that ever happened to you where you didn't get super clear, or you like left a couple parts out? And then like you got what you asked for, but like you left this part out that was really important, and now you're like, shoot. But it does confirm, it's like, wow, it's so powerful. We're all so powerful. We're amazing creators. So I hope this training was helpful. The replay is going to be posted, and I want to invite all of you. I'm opening up this really beautiful container called Speak, which is a 6-week activation course for your voice and empowerment through your story. And how do you gain more confidence in, again, walked with my head down. I can't even tell you how many like sinus infections I got, how many days I had a raspy voice, and it's like to see and actually experience how your voice, it really is like it's like the testimony of your journey, right? Like, it really is. When I hear somebody who can speak with such eloquency and like move people, I know that they've been through something and it didn't start off that way. So this is an exploration of just freeing your voice and your story from just maybe years and decades of staying small and shrinking down and overgiving and people pleasing and all those things. So I want to invite you on that journey, and that starts in 2 weeks. April 28th, I think, is when it's going to start, or the 29th. April 28th. 29th, April 29th at 11 o'clock is the first call. So just want to invite you into that if that's something you're looking to do. And I'm going to end the call now, and thank you all so much for being here.